Okay guys, welcome to video number 2 on stress. In this video we're going to talk about how the stress impacts our bodies physically. So let us share our screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so how does stress impact our body? So let's talk about gut health first. So if you have already been through the nutrition and gut health module, then you will understand how important gut health is for our bodies. Gut health is our ability to actually absorb the nutrients and all of the amazing food and micronutrients and vitamins and minerals and all of the things that really help us to thrive. We are what we eat, and we are what we eat and what we absorb. So you can eat all the best food in the world, but if your gut health is no good, then we're actually going to be worse off for what we're eating. Stress equals poor gut health. So our gut health is significantly impacted by stress. So when you think about it in a stress response, our body needs the energy to go to places to our muscles where we can run away or we can fight, goes to our primitive reflexes and our primitive area of the brain where the vision is really good and we can see what we're doing in a short space of time. Also, it gets shunted away from our gut, because the last thing our body wants to do when we're trying to run away from a tiger is actually digest our food. Stress causes a poor mobility of the gut. So when we eat our food, because of all that energy and that blood has been shunted away from the gut, our actual digestive processes are really, really slow. So our ability to move our food through our digestion is slow, and that creates poor absorption, and we aren't able to actually get the nutrients from our food that we need. As it goes through our system, when we're stressed, we're not chewing our food properly. So our food is not actually getting digested to the extent that it needs to. So we're not actually getting the absorption of our food. We are literally what we eat and what we absorb. So if we're not getting that nutrients, then how do you expect our body to be functioning optimally? So a lot of the times what I see as when people are stressed, we have deficiencies in our micronutrient levels, so that actually reduces. We have poor bowel movement, so either things like IBS or constipation or diarrhea. We get brain fog, fatigue, and when all of these things are happening, your vitality is impacted. So really, really important to help us manage our stress so that our gut can actually function really, really well. So that's gut health. So number one, really, really important, our gut health is like the center of our bodies. Next is our immune system, and this is such an important part of our overall wellness when our immune system is not functioning properly. So when you see people that have compromised immune systems, that's frightening, because they can't protect their bodies from disease and illness. So we need our immune system functioning optimally, but when we are stressed, our immune system dips. You understand that because when you are stressed, you get sick more often. So why this is because 80% of our immune system is housed in the gut wall lining. So the immune system is made up of gut bacteria in the wall, lining of the wall, but it's also made up of, or helped to function by, all of the white blood cells and all of the soldier cells that are inside our gut wall lining. So if our gut's not working properly, then how are our immune system gut bacteria supposed to work well? Like it just doesn't function. So leading on from gut health, our immune system is shot, basically. When we are, like I said, when we are stressed, we are a lot more likely to get sick, and chronic long-term stress can lead to really significant imbalances in the body and can lead to disease. So our immune system is so important at fighting disease, and if over the long term we stay in a stressed mode, or we can't manage our stress, then that immune system function is impacted. So number 2, immune system, gut health, immune system, 2 ways that chronic stress, which is seemingly an emotion, can affect our body physically. Next, we have mental health and cognition. So 90% of our happy hormones, called serotonin, is housed in the gut. Again, if our gut is not working properly, then we can't actually create the happy hormones that make ourselves happy and vibrant and vital and bring us energy. So my own experience in this was when I was in a very, very stressful situation with a work issue. Even the sound of an email coming into my email box, like my inbox, caused a stress response. Like my heart would start to flutter, and I would get this full stress response even though I was sitting down. So I had, IBS. My gut was so poor. I was getting sick all the time. I was so unhappy. And this all makes sense now, because I've seen what the process of stress management in our bodies have. But at the time, I didn't know what was going on with my body. It was failing me. So, but we know now, if you have stress, then you have these problems, and our mental health can really suffer when we're in a stressful situation or we're not managing our stress well. Also, our cognition is affected. So all of the energy and the blood goes to the primitive areas of the brain, which help us to fight or flight. But our higher cognitive functioning is actually turned off. So you think about that brain fog, or you can't concentrate, or that focus is really impacted when you're trying to get something done at work. If you're stressed, then your high cognitive functioning is not working properly. So keep that in mind when your boss is really causing you to have a lot of stress in your work. Is just say, look, my cognition and my productivity is going to lower if you keep making me stressed. So use that as an excuse. All right, this is my first love, hormone health. So what I love about talking about hormones, which I'll talk about in the next module, is when we talk about anything to do with health and optimizing our health, it optimizes our hormones, which I love. When we are stressed, our hormones are affected. And this was a massive impact on my life, because when I was in those stressful situations, we were trying to also have a baby, and the body just thinks, no way am I ever thinking about reproducing here, because if I'm stressed, then I'm trying to run away from a tiger, and the last thing I want to do is procreate when I'm trying to run away from a tiger. So it was so interesting that, looking back at that time, no wonder we couldn't fall pregnant. The stress was so intense. So if you're having trouble with your hormones, really looking at your stress and how you can manage your stress better for us to actually make a change within your health. So the other thing that happens with hormones is there's a mother hormone called pregnenolone, and that creates cortisol, estrogen, and testosterone. So when our bodies need more cortisol created, that pregnenolone only breaks down to cortisol. So progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, they dip. They really dip. So we need progesterone. We need progesterone so much in that second half of the cycle. And that's our feel-good hormone. That makes us feel good. It makes us maintain a healthy weight. It helps maintain a pregnancy. Progesterone is the bomb, and we'll find out that in the next module. So if we are stressed or not managing our stress, then our pregnenolone only turns into cortisol, and that progesterone is just not needed. So again, hormone health, if you want that to be a big part of your recovery, then looking at stress is one of your biggest things. So when you're stressed, it can create unbalanced hormones, so PMS, period pain, missed cycles, longer cycles, bloating, infertility, clotting, and clotting period blood. So that is not normal. So yeah, one of my, as a hormone health specialty, stress and managing stress is a big part of my teaching, which is a bit hard when you're in the throes of trying to have a baby, but it is so important. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is your liver, sugar regulation, and weight gain. So the process of stress is when our liver releases, when our body is stressed, it needs more sugar, so it needs more glucose to be able to run towards and fight the tribe, or to run away from the tiger. I feel like this is just such an easy way of looking at it. When that happens, we need more glucose sent into the bloodstream so that we can actually do those things. That glucose comes from your liver, because the liver has stored glycogen, and it has about 2,000 calories of stored glycogen within the liver at all times. When you are stressed, it needs that energy straight away. So it releases that glucose into your bloodstream so that it can be uptaken by your muscles and by your brain and by your by all the functions that it needs to create that beautiful stress response. But a lot of the times when we have that stress response, we're in front of the computer, we're sedentary, we're watching TV, we are reading emails, so we don't actually need that glucose. Our muscles are like, I don't need it right now, I'm good. So it either stays in the blood and circulates, but then the body says, look, we can't have this glucose in the blood all the time. We need to put it somewhere. And so what happens is the body releases insulin, and then the glucose actually gets deposited in the fat cells. So when we're in our stress mode and this glucose is running around in our system, plus what we're eating already, like we're getting all of this extra glucose deposited in our fat cells, and you usually see it around the middle section, so around your abdomen, and this is the dangerous form of fat. So when you have that constant stress all the time, that constant deposition of that glucose, that can start to really build that weight gain, or make it so hard for you to actually lose that weight that is happening around your stomach. So what I'm going to say to you is stress does impact our weight, and it also impacts our blood sugar regulation. So if that's happening all the time, that stress is happening all the time, then our body can start to actually be impacted by that, and it can find its blood sugar regulation is impacted. And then that can lead to things like diabetes and metabolic disease and all of those things. So stress, even though it's an emotion, it causes really big shifts in our physical health. So I want you to be really mindful of that when you're looking at your lifestyle and your life. Really make sure that you have a look at stress, because that can be a factor. This was a big one for me in regards to my work as a physiotherapist. I always found that our beautiful workers' comp clients who weren't getting any support from their workplaces were really stressed. And when we're stressed, our healing and our repair functions are actually diminished. So this is a really important part to think about, especially when you're doing things like returning to sport or returning to work. If you're stressed, your healing time will be lengthened. So managing our stress is really important in those times as well. Awesome. So that is us for video 2. Video 3, we're going to go through all of the ways that we can actually start to manage our stress. But I want to reiterate, gut health, immune system, hormone health, healing and repair, mental health, cognition, all of these things are impacted just by that stress that we have. So really starting to own our stress and be able to manage it is a really big part of your health journey. So I hope that understanding that will actually give you that power back to be able to take your health back into your own hands. So that is us for this video, and I will be in with the next video to talk about how we can help.